All right, today we're jumping into a book that's, well, pretty revolutionary: The Courage to be Disliked. We're going to explore a framework that could totally change how you see your life, specifically, how to free yourself from the past.
So let me ask you this. You ever feel like you're kind of trapped by your past? It's a super common feeling, right? This idea that everything, your childhood, your relationships, even the tough stuff, the traumas, has basically written the script for your life. And it makes you feel like, well, this is just who I am, and changing seems almost impossible. This idea is everywhere in our culture, and a big reason for that is Freudian psychology. It's all about something called etiology, which is just a fancy word for the study of causes. The whole thinking is past events cause present effects. So if you're unhappy now, well, the answer must be buried somewhere in your past, right? Just have to dig deep enough to find it.
But what if that whole way of thinking is a myth? What if it's actually holding you back? Well, today we're going to explore a really radical counterargument from a guy named Alfred Adler. He's one of the big three of psychology, right up there with Freud and Jung. And his ideas? Whoa. They were considered 100 years ahead of their time, and they point to a completely different way to find freedom and happiness. Okay, so Adler's psychology completely flips the script. It moves us away from etiology, that's the focus on past causes, and towards something called teleology, which is all about your present goals or purpose. So instead of asking, what in my past caused this, Adler says we should ask, what goal am I trying to achieve right now with this behavior? And that simple switch, it's a game changer. It takes you from a world of determinism, where your past controls you, to a world of free will, where you are in the driver's seat.
And this leads us to Adler's most powerful and honestly, most controversial idea. He completely challenges the way we think about trauma. He basically says that no experience, no matter how awful, is by itself the reason you succeed or fail. The thing that really matters is the meaning you choose to assign to that experience.
Okay, I know this might sound a little abstract, a little out there, so let's bring it down to earth. The book gives this really powerful example of a friend who's a total recluse. He's been shut up in his room for years, just paralyzed by anxiety about going outside. Now, the conventional explanation, the one we'd all probably jump to, points straight to his past. We'd say, oh, he can't go out because he was bullied or because he had a bad relationship with his parents, right? His anxiety now is just seen as this direct, unavoidable result of what happened back then.
But the Adlerian way, teleology, asks a totally different question. What's his goal? See, from this perspective, the goal comes first. His goal is to not go outside. And to achieve that goal, he unconsciously creates feelings of anxiety and fear. Now, why would he do that? Well, think about it. If he stays inside, his parents worry about him, they give him their full attention, and he's also safe. He can't get hurt or rejected by the outside world if he never enters it. So he isn't a victim of his past. He's actively using his feelings to achieve a goal in the present.
Let's try this logic on another big emotion: anger. So picture this. You're at a cafe, you've got a brand new jacket on, and a waiter trips and spills coffee all over you. And you erupt. You start yelling at the top of your lungs.
So most people would say you were just overcome by anger, right? That this uncontrollable emotion made you yell. But Adler, he'd say it's the other way around. You had a goal, and that goal was to make that waiter submit to you, and fast, without needing a calm, logical conversation. So to achieve that goal, you fabricated anger. You used it like a tool. And this reframes anger completely. It's not some uncontrollable tidal wave. It's a tool that we can choose to pick up and put down. I mean, think about it. You've seen a parent yelling at their kid, the phone rings, and instantly, they switch to a sweet, polite voice. Hello? Then they hang up and go right back to yelling. The anger wasn't some unstoppable force. It was a tool they were using to achieve a goal, in this case, getting their kid to obey. Okay, so this brings us to the big, thorny question at the heart of all this. I mean, if we're really choosing all of this based on our goals, then why on earth would anyone choose to be unhappy? Why would we choose anxiety or self-doubt?
Well, Adler's answer is wrapped up in a concept he calls lifestyle. And no, he's not talking about your car or your house. For Adler, lifestyle is your personality, your worldview. It's the fundamental lens you use to see the world. It's your deep down beliefs about who you are, who other people are, and just how life works. And here's the real kicker.
Adler says you chose this lifestyle. It wasn't conscious, of course. It happened when you were about 10 years old, as you were just trying to figure out how the world works. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. The basic operating system you're running on today was programmed by you when you were 10.
So the obvious question is, why don't we just, choose a new one, a better one? Well, because it's terrifying. Your current lifestyle, even if you're not happy with it, it's familiar, it's predictable. You know how to handle it. But changing, that means stepping into the complete unknown. It's scary. And a lot of us, if we're being honest, would rather stay with the unhappiness we know than face the anxiety of a future we don't.
And this quote just nails the core message here, which is all about empowerment. It's not about the hand you were dealt. It's not about your genetics or your childhood or your past traumas. It's about what you decide to do with all that stuff, right here, right now. So, look, the bottom line is this. Changing your life isn't about learning some new skill or waiting for things to get better or digging through your past for a magical cure. It's about something way more fundamental than all that. What you're lacking, according to Adler, isn't competence or ability. It's courage, plain and simple. The courage to choose a new lifestyle. The courage to walk into that unknown future. The courage to stop making excuses and just have the courage to be happy.
Okay, so let's boil this all down. What are the big takeaways here? Number 1, your past does not determine your future. Period. Another key idea from Adler is that, at their core, all our problems are really about our relationships with other people. But the biggest takeaway, the one I really want you to hear, is this. The power to change everything is right here, right now, in your hands. You don't need to be smarter or luckier, you just need courage.
And that leaves us with a final thought that's, well, it's both incredibly empowering and maybe a little bit terrifying. Adler's psychology puts the responsibility for your life 100% on you. Your past doesn't get a vote. Your future isn't written yet. Your entire life is decided right here, in this moment. So the only question that matters is, what are you going to choose?